bad has the Pokemon scalping really gotten? Apparently bad enough that the Pokemon Center Japan is requiring people to register with their Your Number card, basically their equivalent of Social Security, in order to register for lotteries and pre-orders for some Pokemon products. That is insane. Like, I know it's been memed where some people are like, oh, you want Pokemon cards? Give me your social security number. But now, Pokemon Center Japan is literally saying that. Also, hello if you're new. I'm Team Static Coco because that's the Pokemon name I chose. Let's take a look at the article. To combat scalping, Pokemon Japan has announced that starting around August 2026, customers will need to verify their identity using their government-issued My Number card in order to enter lotteries and purchase select TCG products from the Pokemon Center online. The requirement will also apply to registering for certain official events. Dude, this doesn't feel good, okay? You should know that in recent years, there has been this push for government IDs and digital IDs for online services like YouTube. There are people out there who want you to only have a YouTube account if you link it to your government ID. And now that's happening for Pokemon pre-orders. And frankly, it's very concerning that they added that part about official events. Dude, I don't want my official government ID tied to my Pokemon trainer account for when I register to go for an event. I mean, it's fine. You can have my name, you can have my address, but my equivalent of a social security number? No! That is what allows for identity theft. But let's keep reading. The new system will effectively limit certain TCG purchases and lottery entries to Japanese residents only, as the My Number card is issued primarily to Japanese citizens and long-term foreign residents who have a residency record. This means that overseas collectors will generally be unable to purchase popular TCG items from the Pokemon Center website. You know, I'm fine with that. I'm okay with overseas people not being able to buy directly from the Japanese Pokemon Center. They can buy it on secondary, but the Japanese Pokemon Center produces Pokemon for the Japanese people. The cards are in Japanese for Arceus' sake. But yeah, that doesn't make me feel any better about this whole registering with your government ID. Let's read some more. Verification will use the smartphone's NFC reader to scan the user's card via an external government-approved service. This will link the user to their Pokemon Player Club account, but Pokemon will not collect or store any personal information. I'm sorry, but I cannot believe this line because of a little game called Pokemon Go. Remember Pokemon Go, which ended up just being a data harvesting program for a tech company to map out the earth and feed the AI? No. We don't believe companies when they say they're not storing our information. We just don't do that here anymore. And I know, Pokemon Go was not Pokemon. It was Niantic. It was some other company that partnered with Pokemon. But still, they did say external government approved source. Not a government service, but a government approved service. Which means that could be a private company that the government has given a rubber stamp to and has been like, okay, they can look at your data. They can verify that you are an individual. And to be completely fair, I don't know anything about Japan. I don't know how the Japanese government works. I don't know how Japanese culture is. I'm an American. But from my American point of view, I would not trust a partner of the American government, and especially not the American government anymore, to secure my data, which kind of sucks because then, you know, who can you trust with your social security number? Anyway, this is about Japan. Let's go on. Pokemon is issuing a notice now because the My Number card applications typically take 1 to 2 months to process. Pokemon also states that more details will be announced at a later date, including the exact start date, targeted products, targeted events, full authentication steps, and any age-based rules. This isn't good. The conspiracy part of my mind is being like, you're warning people? Because it takes 1 to 2 months to get your My Number card application? Sounds like you're giving a little organization that kind of sounds like Bakuza the time to get a bunch of people to register for those ID cards so that they can use them, so that they can have mules to register for these TCG products to get them so they can be scalped in a more organized fashion. I don't know, that's full conspiracy theory. But is it really? Because there was that one story about how the Yakuza, Bakuza, was involving themselves in Pokemon. So, who knows? Now let's read the comments. We need this to happen in America for online and the VMs. No! We do not. Not in this country. Do you want your government ID tied to your Pokemon account? Do you? Do you, Lapunny Lover 69? I don't know, I just made that up. But I wonder if there's somebody out there with that name though. I proposed this be applied in the West on a forum not too long ago, and guess what? I was met with very strong disagreement, with leak of ID details being the main argument, as if we don't give our identity out every time we purchase something online with our addresses and debit cards. I honestly think that anyone who argues against this measure are the ones profiting from scalping activities. My God, dude, that's like the stupid argument that people who have the meta glasses are like, they're like, oh, they have our data anyway, I might as well walk around with the camera and let them see fucking everything. No, that's not a good argument, okay? You know, if they have that information because they need to ship it to your address, maybe they should use that instead. Because giving them one extra piece of information that they didn't have, the equivalent of your social security number, which basically is the extra level that people need to commit identity theft. Nobody's committing identity theft with your name and your address, but not your social security number, okay? Pokemon cards should not be that serious. It should not be that serious that you need to sign up with a social security number or Japanese social security number to get the freaking cards, okay? My guess is that there were a lot of Americans round here, and to them, the idea of a national ID system that is well implemented and easy to use is somewhere between impossible and dangerous on a utopia-dystopia spectrum. Yes, this guy gets it. As I said before, I don't know how things are in Japan. I don't know about the Japanese government. I don't know about Japanese society. Maybe they can actually trust their government. Maybe their government isn't fully corrupt. Maybe corporations aren't just lobbying and trying to fuck everything up there. But in America, we cannot have this trust. We do not have this trust, especially in the day and age where the president has sued the IRS and then settled that suit for over $1 billion just to pay whoever the heck he wants. I'm sorry, this is a Pokemon channel. Y'all probably aren't here for politics. But as Philip DeFranco says, politics will fuck with you. Anyway, next comment. No, we do not. If they start taking ID, that is your literal identification that they can take and sell on the internet, because trust me, they keep it to sell it. Exactly. Especially in America. Scalping so bad, we need to give our social security number and birth certificate. Hopefully it helps stop scalping, but who knows? Hopefully it helps stop scalping. Shut the fuck up. Just shut up. That's only the case if ID verification is implemented extremely poorly. All the vendors should receive is a vendor-specific unique ID number that allows them to verify that A, you are a real person, B, you do not have multiple accounts, or something to that extent. Also, Pokemon Center is not going to be selling your identity. They're a business, not a criminal organization. This guy is the engineer, you know, he's thinking in what we call a happy day scenario, you know, what should happen. Unfortunately, what should happen usually does not happen because people are cheap and they don't want to do things the right way. They don't want to pay people. They don't want to pay qualified people to spend the right amount of time implementing something. People are stupid because they won't make the right choices, or people are greedy because they'll just do it to make more profit. And as I said before, it may not be the Pokemon Center that sells your information. But with Pokemon Go, it isn't Pokemon that's selling the data set of all the pictures. No, it's Niantic. And in this case, it would be the approved external government service that's not the Pokemon Center that could possibly do some shady stuff. I like how people argue against it, but are happy to share their details and some personal scam listings on Whatnot, Facebook, and some online shop that has no transaction protections like PayPal. They are sad that they could potentially lose the ability to pretend to be 1,000 people so that they can buy a whole product supply and resell them. Apparently, Facebook sellers are more trustworthy than Pokemon Center themselves. You don't put your social security number
on Facebook
unless you're an idiot. And if you're shopping on Whatnot, you're probably an idiot. Sorry, not everyone, okay? Just a lot of people who buy cards at a ridiculous premium on Whatnot are idiots. Okay, that's just my personal opinion. It's not a fact, but I don't know. Tell me in the comments below. What is your consensus? Lol, all your info, including your SSN, is already out there on the web. We need this. People who make this argument are dumb. If your social security number is out there on the internet, then why do we use it? If it's out there, it's not secure. Why do we use it, huh? Just because something's out there doesn't mean it's easy to access. Like, just because someone scammed you once Does that mean you're gonna let someone scam you again?
They could simply just increase pull rates to decrease the resale value, which would be enough to keep away the filthy, greedy scalpers. Such complicated systems when the solution is so obvious.
I agree. If you make sets that have high pull rates, what will happen is what happened in Obsidian Flames days. People kept pulling that freaking Charizard so much that they're like, you know, Obsidian Flames, it sucks. We don't want Obsidian Flames because it's so easy to pull the Charizard. The gold Charizard's going for $25. I forgot what the SIR was going for, but the SIR was like sub 100. And people didn't want that set because the pull rates were too good, the set was really small, and I can kind of see that happening with Chaos Rising right now, which, you know, it's a good sign. But I've ranted enough. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye!